with them and a chemistry, but then there's also nothing like seeing a family that really wants this dog and wants to make them a part of their life. I think that's so great. Okay, I have a bunch of questions based on being someone who, like anyone else, watches the Asher House on Instagram, and just there are a million questions that go along with watching you and your story. So I'm just going to fire through a couple of them. Okay,
cool.
How do you
want me to answer them quick? You want me to answer them quickly?
Sure. Yeah. Like,
okay.
Yeah. You don't have to get into long answers. They're short questions. How do you pick who deserves to be rescued? It must be so hard.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, the dynamic of the pack has a lot to do with it. So it's really not about the dog we're about to rescue. It's about the dynamic of the pack and what I feel would be a good addition to the energy of the pack.
Right.
So, for example, if I, let's say, which is true, last week I rescued a really high anxiety dog, really high anxiety. If it has anything next to it, it chews it up. It's just always freaking out. Until I release the dog's anxiety, I will not adopt another dog. I will not bring another dog that matches that dog's energy, or else they'll feed off each other. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
So it all depends on the dynamic of the pack and where the dogs are. That is how I decide which dog I bring in next.
And how does it work with dogs getting along? I mean, I have 2 right now, and I have a little one and I have a big one, and I just rescued the big one. And, the big one was clearly abused before we brought it home and had all these issues that we didn't really know about. And then I have my little dog that I've had since almost birth, right? So they didn't get along so well. Now they do. But how does it work when in a big pack like that?
So imagine, and I've never used this analogy, so be kind to me. If you wanted to join a gang, right? And maybe there's a better word for it, but let's say there was a gang that you wanted to be a part of, okay? And the gang said, for you to be a part of our gang, you have to be okay with this, 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 and this. No negotiation. That's it. You have to be okay with these 5 things. Then you enter. You are now a part. You are now doing those 5 things. What I mean by that is when a dog comes in, we have a big pack and we operate a certain way. With a dog, right? They are pack animals. So when a dog comes into the pack, it's already set up for them. The rules are at play. How the other dogs are acting and being, that dog realizes this is how I have to act and be. Why is that? Because if this dog comes into a gang, if this dog comes into a pack of 50 gang members and he says, I'm the king, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, it's not going to go over very well.
They're going to be like, fuck that. I can tell you,
rebellion,
right?
Yeah.
So it's that, they say we're a product of the people we spend time with, right? It's the same for animals. The animal, you could have the nicest chihuahua in the world, but if you put that chihuahua with 10 really feisty chihuahuas, that chihuahua is going to end up being an asshole as well.
Right.
It's about putting that dog in a better environment. That's why I'm always so confident. Like I just did this rescue video and a lot of people commented because the owner said, please tell me if it doesn't work out. They always like to act like they give a shit. Please tell me if it doesn't work out. I said, trust me, it's going to work out, right? And a lot of people commented, how did you know it was going to work out? You don't even know the dog. I know it's going to work out because that dog is now my dog.
Yeah.
That dog is coming into my pack. And that's how I know it's going to work out. You see what I mean by that?
Yeah, 100%. How do you get these dogs? This question my daughter brought up to me this morning because she loves you also. How do you get the dogs to trust you? Because you're going into an environment, you're seeing a dog who's super scared or abused or hasn't lived with someone because they've lived on the street for a while. How do you get them to actually trust you before you take them to the pack, but trust you personally?
Rachel, I got to tell you something, you are really beautiful at asking good questions. You know how to ask a question. Like you ask the important stuff. You can ask a lot of stuff with what I do. You ask the good questions and you're patient with me. You're really like a pro. I want you to know. I really am enjoying it. It's really beautiful. And tell your daughter that's such a good question, right? it goes back to your previous question of how do all the dogs get along so well.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right, that there isn't a situation that's going to make me feel like this was a mistake.
Okay.
The dog can feel that from me.
Mm-hmm.
So the dog doesn't think, if I do this, he will hit me. If I do this, he will put me away. If I do this, he's going to get mad. The dog knows this guy has my back. He could feel it with my energy. He could feel it with the way, or she, with the way that I pet her, with the way that I hold her close. This guy isn't like the others, right? It is my natural instinct for me as a human to protect people. I'm a big protector. I always, because I was bullied so bad, I have this natural instinct to protect the weak. So when I bring in a new dog, if you were to visualize it, like I take the dog and I'm holding him behind my back so that he or she can see in front, can see, but I'm the guardian, I'm the protector, and they can feel that. You know, it's the way that I carry them, the way that I hold them, the way that I don't hold their stories accountable.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when I bring in a dog, I treat that dog as if it was born that day. It's a new day. And I really believe that they can feel that. It's just like, you know, I think the best thing about dogs is their instincts, although sometimes, you know, it happens where a dog has bit someone innocent and things like that, but the dog, usually it's all out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I take away all of the fear, you know, that is my objective. When I meet a dog, it's like, you're not going to fear me.
Right.
If that makes sense, you know?
100%.
And it goes with experience, Rachel. Like, I don't want people to think to themselves, oh, I wish I was like that. It's like, you do anything every day for the amount of time that I do it, it's like you're going to become, if you spend you see these people with lions and you see them wrestling the lions, you know, at the sanctuaries, not the circus bullshit. But you see these guys at the sanctuaries wrestling lions and hyenas, and they're playing hide and seek. It's no different than what I do with dogs. It's like these guys live with the lions, they sleep with the lions, they eat with the lions. They are the lion looks at them as they are a lion. They don't look at them as this is a lion. The dogs view me as the pack leader, a dog. You know, we can communicate without communicating. All 90% of dogs will communicate non-verbally. So you learn that language. You learn what they're feeling before they have to express it. And it's just this connection, this energetic connection,
Right.
you know?
Right. Have there any time been, I mean, because I know even with people and their personality, sometimes you get a bad egg, or you think one thing about someone and they're either really mentally ill in a different way, right? Has there ever been a dog that's come in that you haven't been able to rehabilitate, that you've had to send elsewhere, or that you have to keep away from the pack and cannot introduce them at all, and they live somewhere else?
So I've had dogs where I'll bring them into the pack and everything is great, and it was going really well. And sorry, my parrot is here behind me.
I see, so cute.
And everything was great. And then once they got comfortable in the pack, they said, you know, I think I want to be the pack leader. And the pack isn't okay with that. The pack doesn't want that. So I will then have to spend a lot more time next to that dog, right? Like really close to that dog. You see me when I'm out, I never use a leash and things like that. I will start leashing that dog. And that's my way of saying, you're not the pack leader, right? And then of course, eventually it goes away. So dogs, just like children, will always test you. They'll always see what they can get away with. Eventually, they'll try new things. And sometimes you just bring them back to day one, right? But never from the beginning, right off the bat, has there been like, oh, this isn't going to work out, you know?
Right.
Never.